Welcome. Hello. We're on. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screams, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you? 'Cause there's a spark in you. You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine just on the night, like the 4th of July. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you're worth. Make 'em go, oh, 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 as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go, oh, oh, oh. You leave them falling down. You don't have to feel like a waste of space. Your original cannot be replaced. If you only knew what the future holds. After a hurricane comes a rainbow. Maybe your reason why all the doors are closed, so you could open one that leads you to the perfect road. Like a lightning bolt, your heart will blow, and when it's time, you'll know. You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine just on the night, like the 4th of July. Help me. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you're worth. Make 'em go, oh, oh, as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go, oh, oh, oh. You leave 'em falling down, down, down. Boom, boom, boom. Even brighter than the moon, moon, moon. It's always been inside of you, you. And now it's time to let it through. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you're worth. Make 'em go, oh, oh, as you shoot across the sky. Help me now. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go, oh, oh, oh. You're gonna leave 'em falling down, down, down. Baby, you're a firework. Isn't that a good lyric? That's a really good pop lyric of the last 10 years. And I recognize these when they come around. It's like, oh, wow, she's really got a good lyric here. I love that. And now, later on, you find out Katy Perry's been through some stuff. For sure. And here's another fantastic lyric, except on the screen you're going to see, I've been so lucky, I was the girl with the golden hair, which I was, but I was a boy. So I just changed the lyrics a little bit at that point. But please feel free to sing with me. I'm nothing special. In fact, I'm a bit of a bore. If I tell a joke, you've probably heard it before. But I have a talent, a wonderful thing, 'cause everyone listens when I start to sing. I'm so grateful and proud. I am. All I want is to sing it out loud. So I say thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing. Thanks for all the joy they're bringing. Who can live without it? I ask in all honesty. What would life be without a song or a dance? What are we? So I say thank you for the music, for giving it to me. Mother says I was a dancer before I could walk. She says I began to sing long before I could talk. True. And I've often wondered, how did it all start? Who found out that nothing could capture her heart like a melody can? Well, whoever it is, I'm a fan. Singing, I say thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing. Thanks for all the joy they're bringing. Who can live without it? I ask in all honesty. What would life be without a song or a dance? What are we? So I say thank you for the music, for giving it to me. I've been so lucky. I am the music inside of me. I want to sing it out to everybody. What a joy, what a life, what a chance. So I say, sing it with me, thank you. The songs, thanks for all. Who can live without it? I ask in all honesty. What would life be without a song or a dance? What are we? So I say thank you for the music, for giving it to me. So I say thank you for the music, for giving it to me. Thank you. Isn't that a good song?
Beautiful. Good morning. Such a blessing to be here with all of you today, friends. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center. Vancouver's home for progressive spiritual development and practice. We warmly welcome all people, all faiths, and all lifestyles. And thank you for joining us on this beautiful day. Today's theme is about your calling. On this all-important topic, the great Iranian film director Abbas Kiarostami says, "The calling of art is to extract us from our daily reality, to bring us to a hidden truth that it is difficult to access, to a level that it is not material but spiritual." And David Bowie's wife, Iman, says, "Change makes you find your calling, your legacy, and God's divine plan for your life. Don't run from it." And Oprah has weighed in on the topic as well, saying, "Your job is not to do what your parents say, what your teachers say, what society says, but to figure out what your heart calling is and to be led by that." And finally, Minister Charles Swindoll asks us to let go of our old ideas about what a calling should be, saying, when you have a sense of calling, whether it is to be a musician, a soloist, artist, or someone in the technical fields, or a plumber, there is something deep and enriching when you realize isn't just a casual choice. It is a divine calling. A calling is not limited to Christian service by any means. So today we are excited to move beyond just quotes and together take a deep dive into the idea of our callings with Reverend Wendy Yacboski. And now let's all stand together and join Tom in singing our group song, "When I Open My Mind."
When I open my mind, when I open my mind, when I open my mind, I see more clearly. When I open my mind, when I open my mind, when I open my mind, I see more clearly. When I open my heart, when I open my heart, when I open my heart, I see things differently. When I open my heart, when I open my heart, when I open my heart, I see things differently. When I open my soul, when I open my soul, when I open my soul, I see love. When I open my soul, when I open my soul, When I open my soul, I see love. When I open my soul, I see love.
Thank you, Tom. And now with our opening intention, Terry Collette.
Thank you and good morning. Please join me this morning in a reflection on generosity. With the song, Open Our Hearts, Open Our Minds, I suggest for the moment we close our eyes, a soft gaze, and consider how generous nature is. Consider, for example, the sunflower with its abundance of seeds. This week we celebrated the beginning of summer. So let us remember how generous the universe is. For example, the sun. Apparently, the entire energy of the earth runs on 1/1,000,000th of the energy the sun emits every day. In the 14th century, Sufi mystic Hafiz caught the deep meaning of this when he wrote, "Even after all is time, the sun never says to the earth, 'You owe me.'" Look what happens with a love like that. It lights up the whole sky. So the bottom essence of the poem is, the sun is generous. So are we generous back? Are we generous forward to future generations of people and species that will be living on the planet? Hafiz also reminds us that in each of us is a spiritual warrior. And like the sun, generosity is a sign of warriorhood. The warrior wisely sits in a circle with other men and women, gathering the strength to unmask oneself. Let me repeat that. Gathering the strength to unmask oneself, then sits giving like a great elite. And let us dance with that, and may our dancing be contagious. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Our guest teacher today is our good friend, Reverend Wendy Yacboski. Reverend Wendy, a New Thought minister since 2005, is ordained with Canadian International Metaphysical Ministers. She is trained in the teachings of the science of mind and spirit, a teaching that focuses on the one divine life that is the source of all life's abundance and teaches us how we can bring it from a universal truth to our individual reality. In spiritual truth teachings, we are whole beings remembering and coming to live our innate wholeness. Through her speaking, Reverend Wendy assists individuals in making the choice to live with more authentic fulfillment and self-expression. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Wendy Yacboski.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to see you here personally, online. It's a really wonderful coming together. But before we go further, I would like to invite everyone to stand, please, as we join in singing our translation of the Aramaic version of the Lord's Prayer.
Holy Spirit, creator of life and all, you create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Our oneness now prevails. Your one desire flows through ours as energy fills all forms. You give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment. You untangle the knots of error that bind us as we also release others. We won't let appearances make us forgetful of the source. We're born free to act from our highest nature. Your presence comes the glorious harmony of life. Now these words are fertile ground from which our future grows. Amen.
Thank you. So I trust that many, if not all of us, are here in curiosity about what a calling is. Where can I find it? Why haven't I found it? When's it going to come? So my beginning is this meditation. So I'm going to take you through a process that I invite you to just know you're safe in and see what comes up for you. All right? So I invite you, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes. Let yourself feel the support of the chair that you're sitting in, the warm energy around you, the love here for you. Just bring your attention to your breathing. Whatever its speed or depth, just let it be what it is. And allow yourself to be one with this breath. This breath that is the breath of God, of spirit, of life energy, activating every part of you for you. Just allow yourself to consciously breathe in and out. And in and out. And one more time, in and out. Just allow your breathing, if it's not already there, to be in its natural pacing. And I invite you to take your mind's eye to your heart space. And I ask you to imagine in that space that you either see or sense, imagine that you can see a beautiful altar in your heart space. There are some beautiful mementos that are maybe very important to you, spiritually meaningful. But notice also that there is a fair bit of empty space on this altar at this time. And you now are feeling called to put something important to you on it. So whatever the divine presence in you is for you, wherever it is in you, I invite you to tap in to your awareness of the divine presence within. Just allow yourself to open to it. There's nothing you need to do. Just open to it. Being aware of the vibration of your being, if at all possible, and let it go to rise up into that divine presence by any name. Let it rise and meet it. Meet it within you. And allowing that to be, I invite you next to imagine a life contribution that you want to make. Let it come to your mind. Please don't judge it. Don't even analyze it. Just notice it feels good. Maybe it feels right. What is that contribution for you? It could be an image. It could be a feeling. And whatever it is, I invite you now, in the way right for you, to place this image or feeling onto the empty space on the altar. And let it be. And now, I want you to imagine another contribution that you would like to make. Allow this image to arise. Be it your mind or your heart, doesn't matter. Again, no judging, no analyzing, just allowing. What's another contribution that you'd like to make? And when it feels full in image or feeling, I invite you again to place this contribution onto the empty space in the altar, on the altar. Just let it be. And turn one more time within. What is another contribution that you really want to make? To whomever, how many ever, whatever. What is just one more contribution that you would like to make? Again, image or feeling. No judgment, no analyzing. Just allowing it to express. And now for the final time, when you feel complete, I invite you to put that contribution onto the altar of your heart. Just gently and naturally breathing. With a soft focus, I invite you to look at those images that you have placed on the altar. Notice which one has the most light toward you? Which one feels more attracting, more joyful, more fulfilling one than the other? Where is the greatest light in the contributions that you want to make? Which one tugs deeply at your heart? And now I invite you to let the other two fade away. And now you are just seeing the one that has the most light and attraction for you. What fulfillment or good, very simple fulfillment or good, can you see in this light-filled image or feeling? Have you seen this contribution before in you? Have you felt it before in you? And now, just feeling grateful that it has returned. And when you are ready, I invite you to let this image or feeling also fade from the altar, knowing that it will always be here for you, because it is for you. And now, with grateful knowing, wherever it resides within you, open again to your source of all supply, all support, and all love, your place of divine wisdom, and let yourself filled with light, with joy, and with love now. Know that what you came to give is already within you. You already have it. And now when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes. And now Tom is going to play a beautiful, beautiful, helpful song.
Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice that calls you home. Can you take a broken promise and find the truth that still remains? Can you hold a candle to the sun and kindle a new flame? Can you open up a window with the opening of your eyes? Can you let the river run away? Can you let your soul cry? Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice that calls you home. Can you speak the tender treasures that lie nestled in your heart? Can you take a precious moment and send it to the stars? Are you following the rhythm of the rocking of the waves? Are you standing in your darkness, being brave? Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know? Come and play, come and play. Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice that calls you home. Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice that calls you home. Are you listening?
Thank you so much, Tom. That was absolutely outstanding.
Written by Beverly Elliott
Yes, it was.
and Edward Copper, my hero.
In fact, the first time I ever heard that song was by Beverly Elliott. And I don't know, do you know how many years ago she put that out, Tom?
This is an oldie for her. Yeah, I'm going to say 20 years maybe.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, and I have never forgotten it, ever. And those first four words, right, or four sentences, I guess, are you listening, are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? And I think it was one of the turning points on my spiritual experience that, one, not alone, and two, that actually I need to listen because it's within. We're going to be talking a bit more about within and without, but I just absolutely love that song. I hope it spoke to your heart as well. And so I'm going to share a bit more of my personal story with you, for the purpose only that I know I'm not alone in this story, and that it talks about the process for some of us of finding our calling. I'm not saying that a calling needs to be hard. Sometimes it can feel hard, but this was my experience in a nutshell. So I grew up to be a quiet and sensitive person and very shy. Now, I'm not sure if that shyness was by nature or some circumstance, because what was going on in my life was not one that really supported showing up for myself. So like many of you, certainly some of you, I experienced parental pain and trauma between them and, of course, to my brother and myself. Displacement of my brother and myself as we had multiple caregivers. So as well as a sense of a loss of identity as a child of parents present, which I didn't have anymore for the longest time, I felt lost, very lost. And I looked for who I was for many, many years. What was my value? And where was it? And certainly, I looked for it outside myself. Survival meant putting others before myself, even idolizing. I wouldn't have used that word then, but it was idolizing others, putting them on pedestals as perfect and or powerful, and pleasing them and discounting myself. So as I grew up, still searching for myself, I became aware of how I was handling life, how I was handling success, how I was handling company and people liking me or whatever that was. I was handling it by becoming a doer. I thought that if I only do, and especially for others, then life will just work out. I don't need to know who I am. They can tell me who I am and what it is I need to do to not be alone and not feel lost. So success was about accomplishment, and it was about form. And I emphasize that word form because it's important when we talk about our calling. And so what I found I was doing was meeting and supporting other people's callings. That's where I felt safest. So in my concern about making other people happy, satisfied, and successful, I realized that I was not giving from a sense of enough. I was giving from fear, a sense of fear. Can anyone relate? Yeah. I also became aware that there was something in me that wanted to express, to speak, to show up. But at that time, I didn't see it as a calling. I didn't even know what a calling was at that time. And it was a challenging time, and sometimes it was very dark. And so to deal with this, thank God, I needed to ask for professional support. And it was these people's callings that helped me recognize and validate my own worth and contribution. And so now I am coming to see my calling as helping, as giving, as loving. Again, notice, these are expressions of life more than forms. I may repeat myself here, but I think that sometimes when we look for our calling, we look for it in a form, a job, a career, an activity, an event maybe, or multiple events. And while our calling can be part of that, I'm not saying that they're separate. I'm saying that a calling is from within. The form is what we do with it. The form is what we do with it. And that's the good news and sometimes the frustrating news. So without a sense of our calling, I'm going to include us in this, of who we are, we sometimes walk around in the pain of in-between. Have you ever set a goal or had a dream or some kind of visualization, and you're not where you were when you began, and you're not where you want to be when you're done? You're somewhere in the middle. Have you ever found yourself walking around sometimes, or just even in the house or wherever you are, and just feeling like something's missing? Like, yeah, I think I'm feeling depressed. I think I'm feeling down. Why would I feel down? I've got this form, and I've got that form, and I've got that form. How could I possibly be depressed? What can you imagine the result is of abandoning our true self? I'm not putting any pressure on here. I'm just asking you to imagine what it must be like to be discounting our true self. The pain of an unclear loss, and I say unclear because we're not aware that we felt we've lost anything. We're just not exploring it. Maybe it doesn't seem like it's very important. And we're protected by the mechanisms of society, ways that we handle feelings that may or may not help for a while, may or may not help for a long time. I overheard an audio yesterday regarding grief, which oftentimes we look at grief with death. When a loved one has passed, a very good friend, whoever it is, we think that that the grieving is about the death itself. I offer this as a suggestion, by the way. But what we're grieving is the loss. The loss of maybe we had a dream with that person or that job or that career. The loss of maybe the things that we enjoyed, the things that we got from them, so to speak, in the transaction that we don't think are ours alone either. But the truth is that death isn't the only reason that we have loss in our lives. When we are not listening, when we're not taking time within ourselves to know ourselves, to know that we're not alone, would there not be a sense of loss when the truth is we're not alone spiritually? So we can go through unknowingly the 5 stages of grief, which I won't go into right now, but the 5 stages of grief, not realizing where it's coming from. Maybe we haven't been to a funeral recently, but it's real. So I just invite you, the next time you might be feeling some down that isn't just maybe an hour or two, you know, when you might be feeling just a little bit depressed and like things feel kind of off somehow, consider in your mind or in your heart, you're experiencing some kind of a loss. And just allow yourself as much as possible to be with it, because as we know, that when we can allow a feeling rather than resist it, it being energy, it somehow beautifully and magically will dissipate as much as possible in that moment, as much as we can allow it be okay, not judge it, not analyze it. So I give that to you. And what I found in my process, and I feel emotional about this because it is not the easiest thing to do, to find and accept our calling, because does it not ask us to do things we're not doing right now? Things that are scary, things that might have impact that we may or may not be wanting or ready for. But what I found, regardless, is that finding and living our calling is not a luxury. And I think that's why you're all here, and people that are here online. It's a necessity. I think we're all looking for maybe even more than how I can contribute, but I do think there is a lot of contribution here. But who I am and who am I and what's my value? I want to feel like I'm making a difference. I want to feel like life is better because I was here today. This calling that's calling us is a call from love, not from fear. I invite you to take that into your heart. It's not meant to be a threat. It's not like, if you don't do that, you are this, or this is going to happen, and you know it well, right? No. It's a call from love. I'm here. You're not alone. I am all that is, and it's yours. Now, trust me. Believe in me. Prove me. Let me in. So I mentioned to you about the form, when I emphasized the form, what we were expressed here, called here, and we said yes. And it's always the first one that's the hardest, right? So we can think of a calling as the form in our life, but it's really the content in our life. Again, it's not what we do, it's how we do it. And then there's what I came to term, as I was preparing this, the calling comparison. Now, I'm sure you've all heard and know yourself that when you compare yourself to someone else in any way, you always come out on the short end, right? I know I do. So, but the calling comparison, a calling comparison, and comparison only causes doubt, delay, and dissolution or loss, like not doing it at all. It just goes away, or you think it does go away. We get caught up in the duality of judgment, big or small, important, not important enough. Have you ever had the experience, I've had it, where I thought, this is before I knew what it was in content, thought I had a calling, but then I saw someone else that I either knew or admired very much, and then I thought to myself, well, they're already doing it a lot better. Why am I going to bother? Right? Yeah, exactly. But you know what? Nobody can give. I'm sure you've heard this before. Nobody can give like we give. Nobody. And then, anyone golf here? What do they call that? The sand trap. Okay. So this is the quicksand trap of how, oh my God, this is my calling. How am I going to do it? I have absolutely no idea. So our brain starts working overtime. Our logic tries to kick in and try to tell us how to do it. And then we move into fear. And if you're like I've been in the past, you get into analysis paralysis, right? But a calling is well beyond that. I believe it comes from the Spirit. But any judgment we're doing is only ever outer conditioning. Ever outer conditioning. Are we born not feeling whole? You might think that a little baby can't think, but I betcha they know their wholeness. They know where they came from. So as I mentioned, and this feels important to say, while a calling and our career can be synonymous, they're not always. We may or may not be paid for our calling. A calling is divine, it's spiritual, it's born into us. So in a reframe, I believe we already have our calling. It's nothing to look for, but to feel into. And it's something we need to listen for. So I'm going to begin wrapping up by reading you The Journey by Mary Oliver, because our calling can be a journey to find and accept. And she says, one day you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice. Though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried, but you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough and a wild night and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. And I have one final quote. That basically says, it feels important, but isn't that interesting how sometimes things disappear because maybe they don't need to be said? And really, what it had to say was that before I can tell the world what I want it to do for me, I need to listen to my life tell me who I am, something like that. So if you want to look that up, it's by Abraham Lincoln. I wish I could have gotten it right for you, but I hope that your meditation helped you to see something light-filled that you feel like you could walk toward, and to just know that it's who you're being more than what you're doing that is your calling. Blessings to each and every one of you. Namaste.
Life is just a road leading me to heaven knows, and I know I'm ready. I'm ready. Just take a step. Come on in. just to make yourself a friend, and I know I'm ready. I'm ready with a melody in your heart. You'll never be alone for that walk in the dark, and I know I'm ready. I know I'm ready. Yes, I know I'm ready. I know I'm ready. Yes, I am. Woo! Oh, yeah! Woo! Uh. Just take a step, come on in. Oh, there ain't no hurry, just to make yourself a friend. And I know I'm ready. I'm ready, yeah, with a melody in your heart. You'll never be alone with that walk in the dark. Woo! I'm ready. I know I'm ready. Yes, I know I'm ready. Hey, I know I'm ready. Yes, I know I'm ready. I know I'm ready. Yes, I know I'm ready. Whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Woo. Thank you, Tom. Amazing. And thank you, Wendy, for a delightful talk, so empowering and uplifting. And please, another round of applause to our amazing, talented Tom, who is following his calling.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. We truly appreciate you. And if you are watching online, come on out and join us next Sunday in person. We would love to meet you and welcome you to Vancouver's home for progressive spiritual development and practice. You will not only raise your vibration for the week, but you will make friends with like-minded people. And afterwards, there is free cookies, I'm just saying. So friends, we are supported by your freely giving love offerings. It's you who makes what we do possible. So please give generously today. And please know your giving is strengthening this spiritual community in many, many ways. Thank you so much for your kind support. Your gifts really are a love in action. So now let's say our offering affirmation all together now. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And if you're here in person, please drop off your donation with the ushers as you exit the sanctuary. And to donate online, simply click on the donate link in your chat window, which will allow you to give via all major credit cards. You can also give via e-transfer, which can be addressed to donations@unityofvancouver.org. Once again, if you are on Zoom or YouTube, you will find a donate link in your chat window. Now, while we are making our donations, let's enjoy more music with Tom.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, pretty baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But until that morning, nothing can harm you, with Daddy and Mammy standing by. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, pretty baby, don't you cry. Hush, pretty baby, don't you cry.
Thank you, Tom. We've been getting a great turnout for our new Metaphysical Bible Interpretation class. This new Tuesday evening class with Fillmore expert Reverend Sandra Campbell reveals the deeper, more practical wisdom Fillmore found hidden in the book. To join us, simply drop into on Tuesday evenings for the next 2 weeks from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. This class is live on Zoom, so all you have to do to join this class is access your weekly email or visit unityofvancouver.org and click on the Zoom link. And our Course in Miracles study groups are a great way to deepen your spiritual practice. Study groups meet on Tuesdays from 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. live in the center, and on Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Zoom. In other news, our annual general meeting is taking place today on the lower level at 12:45 p.m. Join us and get an update on our improving financials and other exciting initiatives. And finally, join us next Sunday when our teacher will be Reverend Carrie Hunter, live in the center with her talk, Transcendence, God Appears. And today's affirmative prayer chaplains are Marilyn Norrie, Melba Burns, Raymond Lancaster, and Caroline Collin on Zoom. And to have a confidential prayer with one of our chaplains, simply come up to the front after all the music has finished. They will be sitting in front of the row just right after the service. And today we have birthday cakes as well, so please come and join.
Okay. And so now as we bring this part of our service to a close, let's say the prayer for protection all together now. Do we rise? Please rise. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you. Let there be
peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let